Hello. I had us muted there for a second. Sorry, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Smoking With.
Glad you guys are back. We missed you. Another week. Back at it again.
But yeah, if you're not following us right now on social media, go follow us right now. Smoking With Pod on Instagram. You can also check out our website at smokingwith.com. And if you guys want to get involved with more of our content, go ahead and subscribe for $3 over on Patreon, patreon.com/smokingwith. Today,
how many spots we got left on the seed giveaway?
We have 7 spots left on the seed giveaway. So go over there and get $3, sign up. I'll send you some seeds. I made a couple mistakes sending the other ones. They got smashed in the mail, but I'm sending out new ones, I promise. Today we are smoking with Cathartic Cannabis, Cathartic_cannabis on Instagram. Welcome, dude. Hello.
Hey, it's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, dude.
So Cathartic, he makes music as well as he does some aquaponics stuff, which I'm really interested in. As you guys know, we fuck with aquaponics real hard. So I'm very interested to see, kind of pick his brain. He says he does this very I don't want to call it simplistic. Would that be the way to kind of dial that out?
Yeah, I just tried to take away a lot of the really scientific details that the aquaponics culture, I feel like, kind of gravitates towards when a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the practice but want to get into it feel like a little overwhelmed with the amount of information that's thrown at them. So yeah, I really just want to break it down as to how you can first generate the aquaculture within the aquaponics, because that's the first step that you have to do. And then how you can introduce your plants and then your fish once the aquaculture of the fish tank is actually cycled. And I'll go into what that means in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. And then tell us about your music, dude. How did that start up, and where are you at now, and how can people find you?
Oh yeah. So I've been playing guitar since 6th grade. And I don't really have time to keep a band and go to practice and actually have live performances, but I've always been super interested in recording. So I'm kind of just doing the one-man band thing right now, creating beats and then doing live instrumentation of my guitar solos over the beats. And yeah, I mean, it's been a long road. I've been releasing music out into the World Wide Web since 2018.
Nice.
Actually a little bit earlier, but that was the start of Cathartic Output, and the release of all of the streaming platform music that I have today.
Hell yeah, dude. And then so for us, we've kind of hit this threshold of being consistent is what has brought us our following. Is it the same thing for you in the music world? It's just continuously hammering on putting out content since 2018 has gotten you kind of organic growth?
100%. I mean, I don't have a ton of time to be just shelling out projects all the time, but I do try to at least do a couple releases a couple times a year. Sometimes the recording magic flows better than others. Sometimes I sit down and I don't really come up with squat. Sometimes I record a song in 3 hours and it's a release. So
fuck yeah, I appreciate how humble you are for release something that's gone viral. You're just very low key, and it's you've had some success, at least more than the average person. So that's dope, man.
Yeah, I'm still that's always been kind of the genre that I've been trying to attack, is just basically I want to create value for other content creators. And I just was thinking how can I make my music provide value to other people? Because the music industry, it's so hard to get organic listeners to new tracks, especially instrumentals.
Mm-hmm.
It's just people want vocals, and to be honest, I'm not a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I do write some lyrics, but I would probably wouldn't ever perform them on
Yeah,
my music. But the video like world, there's a lack of music that won't get taken down off YouTube.
Right. There's a
You know?
big lack of that. I mean, we can tell you for sure. Like, I mean, we took forever to try to find our intro music, and then even then, it was like, and then we ended up like buying this other one, and now we got the one we got now. So, like, yeah, I think what you're talking about definitely does add value, especially in a world where, like, post COVID, man, like a lot of more people are doing podcasts, they're doing videos, like TikTok, all the things, and so I think you're in a super sweet position, man. You can drop some content, and that's going to be for what's upcoming, you know, this big boom of people using music that they can actually use.
Yeah, definitely. So plug myself a little bit here. And to all the listeners, if you have a brand, if you create media and you need music for your media, please reach out. I'll provide you with a clip of my music, whichever track you want to listen to, is free of charge as long as I support your brand, right? Like, I'm not gonna
Just
give
like
my
start
music out
shelling
to
away.
some,
Yeah.
to
Like,
some brand that just has nothing to do with my mission. But if you are on brand, hell yeah, I mean, my music is yours to use, because that's ultimately just more exposure for myself, to be a little selfish there. But I am trying to give it away, so people can use it. There's open Creative Commons on all of my tracks, which means it won't get taken down from YouTube.
What a guy.
hell yeah. I found too that like in the like beat making or electronic music kind of genre, there's this, I don't know, it's this kind of thing that there's this shift that kind of happened fairly recently, within, I don't know, around that 2018 or 2015, is people are starting to incorporate actual instruments into their music, which it feels backwards, but I like it. Like, I don't know if you're familiar or if you listen to EDM too much, but there's this artist Sullivan King who does that. He shreds on guitar and incorporates that into his music, and I don't know, I love it. It sounds very much different, like when you actually incorporate and put that actual instrument into the music. So I appreciate you doing that, and I feel like that is I don't know, it's not something we need, but I definitely see.
It's more of like a signature on it, right?
Yeah.
There's, I think
100%.
people can sit down on like Ableton or whatever, right? And you can learn how to do that. And there's tons of videos, but like there's a different care and artistry that goes into picking up an instrument and learning how to like make it sound the way it does, right? And so like you go in and shredding on the guitar over something that you went and spent a lot of time creating on it, but like that's just your little like signature, your piece de resistance, you know, like that little.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That resonates a lot with me, for sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I look at it.
So how did you even start playing guitar? Because my parents bought me an acoustic guitar, sent me to guitar lessons, and it just did not click for me. I always wanted a drum set, and they got me a guitar, so maybe that was the first mistake. So, but like, how did you get started with the guitar?
I mean, same story as you, except it clicked.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was in like 6th grade. I took my first guitar lesson. I took lessons on and off throughout high school. I also had a band throughout that time. So I was able to really evolve my guitar playing during that period of my life. And since then, I've just been kind of riffing on my own. I have like a loop pedal, so
nice.
I just have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
jamming out with myself. I mean, a lot of these tracks will never make it to market, but they're still just, you know, fun tracks that I have. Sometimes I'll just go back through them and jam along with them.
Even that process is super interesting when you're looping music. Like I will catch myself for like 2-3 hours watching videos of dudes like looping shit, and they start off with like one like, and then they start going and going and going, and by the end they have something
a
that
whole
you
ass
just,
song.
a whole ass song with like hella layers, and you're like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, I've been trying to do some live videos just to, you know, get some more organic growth.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like Instagram Live and shit like that. You'll just pop
Yeah.
on and just start fucking riffing the guitar.
Yeah.
I like that.
I feel like I get a lot of eyeballs that I normally wouldn't.
Oh yeah. Just the fact when you go live, it like boosts, it throws you to the front of everybody's like stories up
Yeah.
at the top on Instagram. So yeah, it's so easy. Like I find myself fucking accidentally getting into people's lives, right? Like I go to like hit something and a notification dropped down and I accidentally clicked it. I'm like, oh, now I'm here. You know what I mean? So like, no, it's definitely a good tool. I've been meaning to use Instagram Live here, you know, as well, because I feel like that's a good place to get some growth. So do you generally play on like acoustic, or do you variety?
So I have my baby. It's a Reverend, which is the brand of Guitarist, semi-hollow body. You know, I bought it after I passed the CPA exam, and got a big bonus from my company, and I just went out and dropped a shit ton of money on a guitar. But I do have an acoustic too, but it's nowhere near the price tag of the
For sure.
Reverend. Yeah.
Is the quality of guitar like, I hope the answer is yes to this question, but like the more you spend on a guitar, is it generally better quality? Like, is just like the sound something different, or?
Yeah. It's, I mean, just the craftsmanship, like it's a craft. And so the fretboard, like it just has to be a certain, I can't even like explain it. Like, you know, like if you pick up a $10,000 guitar, it just sounds way better than if you're playing a Fender Squire. Like,
Or at least you get that in your head. If you spent 10,000 on a guitar, you're like, I know this sounds better, bro. It's gotta be.
It does.
It doesn't just sound better; it feels better.
Right.
It feels like you're way more fluid than. I can't explain it. I'm not a guitar builder, but it's definitely a craft.
I play the ukulele, not to the level that you play the guitar, but my first ukulele was like a starter, like $40 ukulele. Like it shit came in a plastic bag kind of thing. And that it sucked. And then I spent like $260 on like a Lonnie Kai. And fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, wow, my guy. Yes. So I spent some serious money on like, you know, like a decent, you know, like concert uke, and it was nice. And I changed the strings out to like nylon strings, and I was like, oh, okay, this is nicer to play now. Like it's easier to move my fingers around, and the strings aren't cutting into my hands. I get you.
Oh yeah, putting on a fresh pair of strings is
pretty
like
magical.
It's magical.
Yeah.
So was that $10,000? Was that just a random number? Or is that how much you paid for your guitar?
That's not how much I paid for my guitar.
Okay.
It's closer to 2K, but
okay.
I mean,
Yeah, still
a good chunk of change for me.
Absolutely.
For an instrument, absolutely. Yeah. And then so like parallel, like you smoking weed, when did you start smoking or get into cannabis?
Freshman year of high school.
And you're how old currently?
I'm gonna be 30 in July.
Oh, hell yeah. We on the 30 train, man. We all on the 30 train.
Oh, yeah. I'm turning 30 in May, so I'm staring death in the face with you, dude.
Oh no. Oh fuck yeah. Okay, so you've been smoking for a while. Was that consistent, or did you like take certain breaks, or?
Just like briefly when I was getting out of college, because I was looking for corporate jobs. Like I said, I passed the CPA exam. I'm a CPA by trade. I do work in the cannabis industry now. Nice. So I went into like public accounting for 3 years, and then I moved over to a company called Grassroots Cannabis.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay.
So they operate in the Midwest and a little bit on the East Coast, or operated, I should say, because they were acquired by Curaleaf.
Okay.
So I worked with Curaleaf for about a year, and then just got the fuck out, because it's just like, corporate all over again. Like, there's no advantage in like working in cannabis if you're just going to work for another like corporate box shop, Right. So now I work for a company out in California called Cannabis. They are a distributor of cannabis, the largest distributor, I think, of cannabis in the world, actually. I don't know if any other companies that are doing it at scale. I mean, there's some competitors, but they've topped the market cap.
Fuck yeah. That's dope, dude. Well,
Are you saying
congratulations.
that you work remotely in cannabis?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking wild, dude.
That's
What do you
dope.
do for them?
Hella. He's a CPA, dog.
Yeah, I'm the accounting manager at the
Well,
company.
Okay,
Yeah.
so forgive my ignorance, but what the fuck does CPA stand for?
It's oh yeah.
Certified public accountant.
Thank you, because I'm so over here. I'm like chief, but like pussy
He crunches.
administrator. Like what? Like
I mean, something like that. Without one of those, you ain't getting no pussy. Like, you need to know how to like pay your taxes and all that stuff. And
okay,
being on that side of things, like from not knowing what a CPA does and knowing that I have to go and pay taxes, like having somebody that you can call and be like, hey, please run these numbers, and for them to come back and be like, no, it is exactly this. You're like, oh, bless you, bless your soul.
Yeah, to squash all misconceptions, I don't do taxes. Okay. I prepare financial statements and manage the accounting of the general ledger that goes into those financial statements.
as far as like making sure employees are getting paid and whatnot.
I mean, that's payroll. That's part of
Damn.
the whole.
Okay, so it is a part of it.
Yeah.
What you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The payroll is just like one expense to the company. I manage the accounting for all the expenses of the company and
Like literally
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Like literally, like every card, everything. We bought fucking this on Amazon. Boom. Like
Fuck yeah.
Very important, sir. I commend you.
So if you want to get a remote job in cannabis, go to college.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to happen where the cannabis industry is becoming legitimate, right? So these other positions like paralegals that specialize in cannabis and CPAs and other officey jobs, which, 2, 3, 4 years ago, you would have never thought those people would be in the cannabis industry. Like now they are. Now you have these breakthrough people, and even like marketing people. You have people that are fresh out of college from marketing that'll get in and they'll join the cannabis just to do like whatever marketing they can do for them, like their commercials, their ads, their swag, whatever. Yeah, it's so dope to see the industry growing the way that it is.
It's also a little like disheartening at some points, because it is just like Chads and Becky just running the cannabis industry. It's a little frustrating coming from like, I would consider myself a lifetime smoker. I mean, I started freshman year.
Right. I mean, since most of your adulthood or even early adulthood.
like for all the people that took the risk to smoke, even though it was illegal, those should be the people running the industry, not these people that are just in it for the cash bag.
Yeah. Right. No, it's hilarious. The place that Josh and I work at, it just happens so that we have two like main CEOs of our company. One's named Chad and the other is named Matt. And they really balance each other out. Matt is very like, for the customer, for the quality, I want all this bougie packaging, it will spare no expense kind of thing. And then Chad's like, hold on, this has got to make dollars and cents. Mm-hmm. So it's like this really cool balance instead of just having the Chad in charge, or you know what I mean? There's like that good balance. So it's so funny that his name ended up being Chad, and he's like a true to the what do you call that stereotype of Chad in cannabis. Like he's like the money man. Like it's fucking hilarious. So every time someone says Chad, I just immediately think that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in the end of it, right, to bring some light on, I guess that is like the people with the passion for this industry are going to end up shining, right? Like the Chads always end up working for somebody, right? And I think in my head, the people who will be like those chief officers and the people who will be running the companies and the heads of their divisions will be people who are passionate about cannabis and this craft and this industry. And, like you just have to make it through that middle level of Chad and Susans and Bettys and all that. And then you get to the cream of the crop where hopefully we'll be someday,
Oh, I will be for sure.
100%.
Fuck yeah.
So how does cannabis affect your making music? Like, do you use it together? Is it something that you keep it separate because it distracts you? Like, how does that?
I mean, I don't get like super baked when I'm actually like really trying to record. One, just because like computers and cannabis, like for me, aren't the best combination. Like, I hate being on a computer when I'm stoned. Okay. But at the same time, I'll just like get super stoned and like fuck around on my loop pedal a little bit, and then if something like really bumps, then I have that record and I can upload the tracks from my loop pedal to Pro Tools. So like I'll always have that like ability to use those tracks on my loop pedal if I want them.
Nice.
And I've like come up with this pretty systematic approach to where I can measure the time of the beats that are on the loop pedal because it has a metronome. So I can just like throw that into Pro Tools and systematically calculate what that beats per minute is. And then once you have your grid just totally laid out with the beats per minute of the song, you can just throw on like any like drum loop and it'll sound, there's like obviously some drum loops that'll like click more with the song than others, but they'll all be on beat all the time.
Yeah, because you have the BPMs out, so it's like all on the same cadence. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it gets super synced, and then from there I just kind of layer it on top.
I could see why doing that level of like almost math at that point, right? Like how that would be something where you maybe don't want to be super stoned to do, but like more of the instrument playing and the like messing with the loop in the beginning and kind of getting that influence, and the muse would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna smoke a little bit of weed, I'm gonna go jam on the guitar, and then I'm gonna switch over to this young computer when I'm sobered up.
But just I guess kind of going back to the drug use and the playing of cannabis, when I drop acid or take shrooms, dude, I fucking rip. Like it's unbelievable how much like the guitar becomes one with myself.
Fuck yeah.
And like I don't play anything like any notes out of key. Like it's just all, maybe it's just my head, but I have recorded it
with that guitar.
Listen to the song Bonefire on my playlist.
Bonefire.
And that, I was shrooms, but
fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was we're gonna go listen to it because me and Garrett are big fans of, well, at least shrooms. I mean, you drop acid every once in a while.
No, I'll fuck with it all.
Yeah.
Only
that makes me so happy that you're like, you know what, weed's cool, but like I'm a fucking guitar god when I drop acid. Oh man, that's so dope.
Dude, we haven't asked a guest in a while about we talk about like strains and stuff. Is there, because you've been smoking for a while, so you've smoked a lot of weed. Is there ever a strain that like just hit you and everything clicked and you've just never been able to smoke it again? Like you're
great white buffalo
really
weed.
Honestly, like I don't know, like being a cultivator, I know that strains grow differently than others, but sometimes I think strains are complete bullshit. You ever like, I don't know, like people will tell you, oh, it's this, but like as myself as a grower, I get my strains so confused or like what plant is what, like after a while.
Right.
Like I could just tell anybody this strain is white gossip or fucking whatever. Like
right.
And I mean, and they're gonna be, oh yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah,
sure. I just mean from like, was there ever like a weed that you smoked? I guess like take the strains out of it, right? Was there ever just a weed you smoked that just like met all the like checked all your boxes, and it's just like you hit this and you were like, wow, this weed's different, and then you just like, I don't know, could never have smoked it again?
What do you mean could never have smoked it again?
Well, I just okay,
like
so
you never had that experience again, like
right?
It was a one experience with one-off high.
I mean, I think the most satisfying smoke I've ever had was the first time I smoked a bowl of my own pot.
Fair enough. Wow. Okay.
Good answer, sir.
Yeah, honestly, great fucking answer.
Wow.
Because you're not wrong,
when
right?
You're running for president.
Like I know what goes into it. It's
Yep.
complete pure. Like I don't put any bloom newts into everything I put into my system is fish derived.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
No, so okay, so yeah, you seem very passionate about like the fuckery of cannabis and I don't know, man. Like being a commercial, cannabis cultivator myself. Like it's hard pressed for me to like really. I don't know. I don't think that our weed's the best. Sure, we got some quality weed as far as like the retail market goes. But if I had it my way, dude, like, of course that doesn't make money, right? Like having to do it this, you know, like aquaponics at scale does work in like lettuce and stuff. So it's potential that it might work for cannabis. I don't know exactly the scale of that per se, but I know like super soil, hot soil, whatever soil in general is not very financially friendly for you know, big commercial cannabis cultivation. So I agree with you that like honestly the way, like if you're a very holistic grower, right, like your shit is, to you especially, is going to be like like the top of the level, right? And I feel the same way, right? Like I know the inputs of my cannabis, right? So no, I'm definitely on board with you there. I never would say that any of the weed that I grew was something that was out of this world yet. But you know, I'm looking to change that. This grow behind me is definitely on track to do something
I feel like
way
you
better.
get to smoke some weed that changes your life, and like sometimes it's your own weed, like, and it's not because the weed is life changing. It's because like you're like super proud or you're stoked or it's like in the moment. So I feel that like I like you getting to like have that craft. And I agree with you, dude. Like back when you were talking about like the strains not being that different, like I just had this conversation the other day at work. It was like, yeah, all these strains are different and they have their little like, I guess, markers that make them unique. But at the end of the day, like they can be put in these pretty broad categories of like flavor profile and high. And you can find 100 different strains that kind of do the same thing. Then maybe they're a little different. They smell a little less like this or a little more like this, but they're still in that category, right? Like if you took like orange strains that make you happy, you could go all day. And yeah, all of those would be a little different, but it's kind of all the same thing. So
Yeah.
I want to say, oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I was also gonna say like indica versus sativa. I'm not totally convinced that that's really like. I think what makes weed like sleepy tired weed is how long you leave it on the stem. You know, because once those trichomes start to turn amber, it turns into like a sleepier product.
Yeah.
Right.
That higher CBN.
Right.
Yeah.
The chemistry of it for sure, right? There, like you can take any strain to, you know, 2-3 weeks beyond its actual term, and you know, before it actually tries to herm and self-pollinate itself
and have something heavy.
And yeah, you're gonna have something, you know, definitely sleepier, because you're right, the CBN which is what that THC or the trichome turning to amber is, it's turning to that but yeah, so honestly, yeah, that's the whole like quote unquote phenotype of cannabis now, is like you grew that your own special way. So genetics only plays a part in it. I know we have this cultivar that has 2 quote unquote indica parents, but it presents itself like a motherfucking sativa. That shit'll have you bouncing off the walls. You know, so yeah, I agree with you that strains are kind of a bullshit thing. They're a gimmick a lot of times. If you can get a rapper to say your strain, it's fucking hot. It's just so stupid. So I agree with
marketing.
you. It's marketing. Yeah. Dude, let's delve into your grow a little bit, because
guru me on aquaponics.
Yeah. Hit me with your knowledge.
So I've been doing this since long before I started growing weed, actually. So I probably started 2017. My wife got me this it's a aquaponics kit called Aqua Sprouts. It goes over a 10-gallon tank. So I don't know if you guys have seen my setup on my website. But it's a 10-gallon tank and this like plastic little like mold thing that can go over the fish tank, and it's essentially works as the grow bed, and the tank pumps water up into the grow bed every 15 minutes, every 45 minutes. So it's just like constantly making sure that the roots stay moist, but then yet it gives it that dry period, so the roots can also take in that oxygen, similar to just any hydro environment, but with the only difference being the water's coming from a fish tank. So that has its pros and its cons, because like the fish tank is completely organic. So that's like, it's completely like there's no chemicals or anything. You know exactly everything going into it is from this world.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
And you can't really like adjust those levels, right? Like, so in
Exactly.
aquaponics, like hydro, you're like, I got too much nitrogen, I'm just gonna bloop and then dial that back a little bit. When you have aquaponics, like the fish, what is it, like the food that you feed them that affects
Yep.
that?
And to your point, like there's nutrients within the fish tank that like it's just not sufficient to grow a cannabis plant. So you have to add additional nutrients to the fish tank that can't actually go into the fish tank to that plant. So how do you do that? It's called a dual root zone. Basically, I take a pot, I fill it with soil. The pot's like pretty small, like a standard 4-inch pot. And so I start the plant within that pot, and it's got holes in the bottom. It's like any pot that you would buy a plant from at Home Depot, where it's got just like it's just a little plastic pot with holes that the roots can grow through the bottom.
Okay.
And so I take those plants and I just put them on top of the clay pebbles, and the roots know to grow down into that grow bed because there's water there. Somehow it can sense the humidity, and it gets trapped at the bottom, and the plants are able to grow through the pot. So you have the plant based in the pot, but then its root system is
Gonna go all
grown down into the entire grow bed.
Gotcha.
So you have that soil layer that you can dose systematically and make sure that all the newts don't get down into the fish tank.
Okay. And then so what are you using to like re-amend, I guess? Are you using like organic inputs up top too?
Yep. So I've been working with this company called Foop.
Yeah, you have. We use too.
Hell yeah. So they basically just sent me some product that I've been using, and
aquaponics in a bottle, man.
Yeah. So it's aquaponics on top and in the grow bed.
Yeah. Even though it's not aquaponics, it's aquaponics.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's just like aquaponics square at that point, and it gets you all the nutrients that the plant needs, in addition to having just that freedom of hydro, but still being 100% organic.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you using Foop every time you water up top in that soil?
No. So I actually have like a water pump that basically I put it into the fish tank, and then it pumps water up into those little dual root zone pots.
Mm-hmm.
And then every so often I'll just turn it off so it can dry out completely, and then I'll dose it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I guess my question was, like every time you do water that top, it has the Foop in it, right? Like you're not just watering like Foop and then the next water is just plain water, pH water, and then Foop after that. It's Foop every time, right?
Not Foop in the sense it's my own Foop, not the
fish tank.
Okay. We're
it's the fish water.
Yeah.
But I don't always I'll always use the fish water, but I don't always put Foop into the fish washer.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And when you amend the Foop into the fish water, are you doing that in a separate jug, or are you just like adding it to that, like where it's coming in from the tank?
Yeah. So my automatic it doesn't have like a doser. There are contraptions out there. They're really expensive, and so I just do it manually.
Yeah. That's how I would do it for sure. Yeah. Some dropper action or whatever little. Yeah. Okay. I like the system. So if I was going to try to do this and I was going to set this up at my house, run me through the steps. Like, what would I need to do? What's the important parts? Kind of. Yeah.
So it takes a lot of patience, to be honest, at the start, because you have to, like I was saying earlier, establish your aquaculture before you can even get started. And that takes like 2 to 3 months in itself. So
how do you do that?
So you introduce ammonia to the water, and eventually over time, there will be this other bacteria called a nitrite,
Mhm.
and it'll come from, I don't know, it must be in your tap water. I don't know how it gets into the water, but like it'll eventually start eating at the ammonia, and then you can start like testing your water for nitrites,
Uh-huh.
and like you'll
Okay.
see that like, yeah, the buildup is starting to occur. And
Cool.
then there's another bacteria called nitrates that eat the nitrites. So then there's like another step in the cycle
Mm-hmm.
where the nitrates are what the plant takes up, right? So
Mhm.
that's like the ultimate end goal of your aquaculture.
So you're basically waiting for the ammonia to be all the way processed to nitrates.
Yeah, so you want to have the nitrite population, and then after that you'll start to notice the nitrate population, and once those are like at a good level, then you can introduce your plants
Okay.
and your fish, because
So
otherwise you'll just kill your fish.
Got you.
Oh, shit.
Are there special like microbes that you're using to like put in the water? Because I know for like soil to get that breakdown to happen for hot soil, you use like microbes. But do those same microbes work in the water, or do you have to use special like underwater ones?
Yeah, so I'll tell you everything that I put in. I mean, my secret sauce.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, so like I said, the plants are based in soil a little bit.
Yep.
So like when
Okay.
I first initially tried to grow cannabis, I didn't do the dual root zone,
Mhm.
and I just noticed like a ton of deficiencies because the soil, I don't know exactly like what contents of the soil like are, it's really lacking. I know iron is one of them,
Mhm.
but probably like a bunch of other micro minerals that the plant needs.
But it's not getting from the water.
It's just not getting it from the water.
Yeah.
So there is like an aspect of that just like is a complete game changer because it does have that soil aspect.
Mhm.
And then I also, to the water, I use phosphoric acid, like a diluted phosphoric acid, because you have to keep the water's pH level to like a good 6.0.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I mean,
The fish
if
will die or the plants will die.
right. So the fish are pretty tolerant of any pH. What they're not tolerant of are really high fluctuations in the pH. So you have to be super careful when you're dosing with this phosphoric acid,
Okay.
because there's a chance that um, the pH will just completely spike
Right.
because, or drop, I should say, because you're dosing it with
Yeah.
acid, and so there's another level of the water that I pay really close attention to, which is the KH of the water, which is essentially all of the carbonate buildup from tap water, right? So like you'll start to get like this crusty white, like, and which is calcium from the
Mhm.
water.
Calcium buildup. Yeah.
So that in itself boosts the pH, and it creates like this like barrier, right? And when you dose it, it reduces the buildup of all that calcium, but it also like reduces that barrier. So like if the barrier is still there and you dose it, the pH will go down for a second, but it'll go back up really fast.
Yeah, because you got that calcium in there to bounce it back.
Right.
Fine.
But
Yeah.
then once that KH level is fully depleted and you dose it and it doesn't have
The calcium.
that barrier there, then it just drops, and then that's when you kill all your fish.
Yeah, too many anions. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. I'm starting to pick up what you're putting down. So I inoculate this water, I get it ready, and then I put my fish in, and then I start adding the acid to it, making sure my fish don't die. Are your plants already planted when you add the fish, or do you let the fish kind of sit in there for a second and do the thing and then add the plants?
So when I first started, I added the plants in first,
Mhm.
and that didn't really work.
Okay.
I mean, it kept the water healthy because it was sucking up all the nitrates
Mhm.
from the water, but it just wasn't getting, like I said, all those
All
like
those
really
little-
micronutrients that it needs from soil.
Okay.
So now the dual root zone, man, it's so fucking rad because veg in pots while I'm flowering. And I have a separate setup that's just for veg. And
Yeah.
then once I harvest, so I have them in those pots that I was talking about with the holes in the bottom.
Mhm.
All I do is just pop them in after I harvest my current load.
Okay. And then that's just kind of like a boost at that point then. So you're going into flower, and most people at flower, they're amending their soil, or they're adding, a new layer of something, or they're starting to use their bloom nutrients, right? If they're doing salts or things like that. You are inoculating them with more of that, like basically aquaponics, because you're using foop in the dirt too. So like they're getting that extra boost on flower. I like that. That's a good system.
Yeah, I do think some of the food sometimes gets down into the water. I tried my best to like keep it limited, but it doesn't really seem to be.
But it is fish emulsion, right? So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like the fish, I mean, like, yeah, don't have a ton of it in the water because that's gross. But like the fish are making that, they're pooping and dying and stuff in the wild and stuff anyway. So there's always that present in their environment. So
That's my theory. I haven't killed any fish that I know specifically from food. So
Yeah, hell yeah. What do you feed the fish? Are you feeding them anything specific to like for the plants, or like yield more like, I don't know, different nutrients or something?
Just to be organic, I feed them bug bites.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just like, I don't know. It's a fish food you can buy, where it's just made up of bugs. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty good fish food. It like sinks, and I have a couple little catfish. So
Ooh, hell yeah.
It works good for every layer of the fish tank. So in fish theory, like you want to stock your tank with a fish that lives at every level of the fish tank. So that way you have them eating the food and cleaning up the tank at all different levels.
How big is your tank?
Just a 10-gallon tank.
Oh shit.
Wow. Okay, fuck yeah. And then how many plants? Like 6
Right.
or?
I usually stock it with 3. It doesn't really make sense to stock. I could maybe pop in another one, but it doesn't really make sense. It's really just the canopy space.
Yeah.
It's limited to.
Like 10-gallon is like got to be like this big. So.
And how many fish are floating around in that?
Probably about 12 to 15.
Oh shit.
Okay, so pretty like easy, I would say. Like not easy in
compact
like setup, but like
no, it is easy. It is
to go get the stuff, right? Like people are thinking, oh, I got to get like 100 fish. It's like, no, dog, you need like 10 or 15 fish, and then
it was hard to figure out. A lot of trial and error, but it's fucking easy, dude.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Like, I don't have to do shit. It's just like it's on a timer. It cycles. It waters itself. All you have to do is I have to fill the fish tank quite a bit because the plants suck up all the water, and then
that water, and then
just dry as fuck here in Chicago. Water evaporates. But
do you think that you could put more plants in there if you had a bigger fish tank? Like if you had more space, let's say, and like to do more plants, you would need a bigger tank, right? And more fish.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I live in Chicago in an apartment, so
fair enough. You got to.
Yes, I have, and honestly, like, so a lot of people, if you just search like cannabis aquaponics on Google, there's some wild setups. Like I've been just so inspired by all of what these people have built. Like it's just super like DIY engineering that looks really fucking cool too. But I have yet to find another system that's so small.
Yeah, I was gonna say yours sounds very like compact and nice. All the ones that I've seen are like these huge, like kiddie pool-esque material or size, and they're doing it like in their garage, and it's got like these weird ghetto slats over the top so they can put their plants and have their roots going into the water, and the fish are like living in this pond thing. And I'm like, man, like I want to do aquaponics, but I don't want like this 10 by 10 foot square taken up by this situation.
So for context, like you can see, that's it right there, that glow.
Yeah, and that seems like that's nice, and like
it's almost like a piece of art in the kitchen, you know? It looks fucking cool. Like this scrog that I have on here, it's like a plastic clear scrog, and then I have these LED lights on the side of it, like lighting up the the clear scrog and then
Oh, fuck
the
yeah.
nugs on top of it. It's just,
Looks good. Yeah.
I just look at it all day, to
Fuck
be
yeah.
honest. I
Yeah.
work from
And-
home,
and-
so
And if anyone at home or wherever the fuck you are listening, Cathartic_cannabis, you can see all his art project in all its glory on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right.
definitely. And you can also visit my website, www.catharticoutput.com.
Fuck yeah. And then that's where you can see like all the aquaponic do you have your music? Is it just kind of like everything? Is it like you as a brand?
Yeah,
Nice.
it pretty much sums me up as a whole.
Fuck.
But I also have a verified Facebook page.
Nice.
So
Wow.
yeah, I think I've found you guys on there. I've been trying to, bump you guys up.
Oh,
I
on our
appreciate
Facebook,
it, man.
I don't
Hell
even
yeah.
I don't even understand Facebook most of the time.
I appreciate you. That's dope.
But back to your grow, dude. Like so I've looked into aquaponics a lot, right? Like for just my garden. Like I want to grow some like lettuce and shit outside, and I want to get like an IVC tank and like do all that situation. Do you require I don't know for the scale of your shit if it's gonna need it, but do you have like a filter for like solid? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a requirement in this kind of setup.
I think there's multiple different ways of looking at like, I don't know, the nutrient storage. Because like some would say like the solids getting up into the grow bed. So I guess to step back for a second, one more aspect to my system is there's worms in the grow bed.
Okay.
And they're eating solids that do get like stuck up there because like, yeah, there's a bunch of shit floating around in this fish tank, especially when I feed them or if anything that gets kicked up. Like when I pull these plants out of the bed, like it just becomes this like cloud of like fish shit and like, I don't know. Like I don't want to know what's in the cloud, but like you can't see the fish. And it's never killed them. It can't be good for them, but yeah, so like I've gone through several solid filters because it's just like constantly like taking on all of that when I pull them out.
Do you think there's a way to like reclaim that somehow? Like, do these filters, are they designed to where like you can actually use that stuff and then create, I guess, your own food in a way?
I do.
Oh,
So it accumulates in a sponge, right?
oh, mhm.
And so I guess there's kind of an argument whether the filters in the aquaponics, whether you should use the carbon filters, and that basically like crystallizes the water, right? But it also sucks up like a lot of like micronutrients that like it's filtering those out along with all the bad. So my theory is I'm just using a sponge to capture those solids and just like doing it completely natural. I think I don't know. I've actually never tried the carbon, but I've like researched it pretty in depth, and that my conclusion was it's not worth sacrificing those micronutrients for the crystallized water.
And you have another system in place where you have you have microbes that you're inoculating at least by adding the FOOP in when you do the soil watering, and then you have worms too. So you kind of have a couple buffers there in between that stuff and your final plant, where I think a lot of those like viroids and other things that could be present from bad bacteria there would be taken care of by the time they got to your plant. No, that's very interesting, dude. Like it makes it super attainable. It makes it so like aquaponics is something that you can do at home pretty easily.
Yeah. That's dope.
What's your favorite fish? I know
I don't know. I can't pick favorites. I mean, there's some OGs in there that like I kid you not have been around since I started my aquaponics in like 2017.
Whoa, hell yeah, grandpa fish. I love that. I could never keep a fish alive for that long.
So those are my favorite. And there's two little catfish and then some tetras in there that I've had since the start. I've also gone through a lot, admittedly. Don't go into aquaponics if you are afraid of killing a fish.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That's like
it's always so disheartening, man.
It's like
they're family members, and then
It's
they
like a
just,
vet tech who wants to go work at a vet hospital, and they're like, dude, you don't even understand. Like, I know you love animals, but this is gonna make you like real sad potentially if you're anyway.
It's the same thing with going into weed and being sad when a weed plant dies. Like, it's gonna happen. It is sad.
Yeah.
But
Or you get a
it's
male
thing
and you have to cut it down because that's just what you do.
that- yeah.
Cool, dude. Well, we appreciate you very much for your time, dude. Taking an hour or so out of your day to come chat with us, dude, about what you're going on, and letting the people know that aquaponics is super attainable and easy to do, even if you are in an apartment in Chicago.
Yeah, dude, that was dope. And I appreciate the rundown. Like, there's a lot of aspects of aquaponics. Like you said, you make it simple. Like, until I heard you talk about it, a lot of those pieces didn't click for me. So thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let the people know where they can find you, all your different places, man. We're also, all this stuff's going to be in the description area. So, but feel free.
Yeah, so to find my music, I'm listed on all streaming services as Cathartic Output, and my website, which is kind of just like the holistic everything about Cathartic, www.catharticoutput.com. I also have the Instagram handle Cathartic_Cannabis. There you can check out my grows. This system, I got pictures of it. The contraption itself is called Aqua Sprouts. I don't want to take credit for the build of that goes over the tank, but I did tweak it. Like, you'll definitely see like all the cannabis aspects that I've really layered into this system. I would challenge anybody to replicate my process. I will try to mentor you in every aspect of it. I mean, honestly, for free at this point. My end goal, I want to like turn that into a business and teach people how they can set up a similar type system in their home. So like, I was
in consulting. Yeah, that's dope.
I was gonna say, for all your consulting aquaponics needs, feel free. I'm sure Cathartic_Cannabis, DM him there. That's where we talk. So, I know he responds.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right. Thank you, dude, for your time again. And
thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
We appreciate you. We'll
Absolutely.
talk to you next week. Until then.